verse 16. Therefore, he says, pray not thou for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I'll not hear thee. God says you don't need to pray for these people until they turn. And I believe that today that there are times when you don't need to pray for folk. I went into a hospital to visit a member, and I prayed for a man across the way. He said to me, will you pray for me? Well, I said, I don't know. Are you a Christian? Well, he says, I believe in God. Well, I said, that doesn't make you a Christian. I says, it's to trust Jesus Christ, and I gave him the gospel, and he would not accept it. Now, I said, brother, I want to pray for you, but not like you want me to. You want me to pray that you get well and that you be blessed. I'm going to pray that you get saved. That's the only prayer I can pray for you. We are praying today for too many people to be blessed that ought to be prayed for to get saved. Now, that's the thing that God is saying to Jeremiah. Don't stand there in the temple there and pray for these people. If you're going to pray, pray that come to God, and you're giving them my message. That's the important thing. Say, this gets right down to the nitty-gritty, doesn't it? This is where the rubber meets the road, and this is where the shoes hit the sidewalk, too, by the way. It's not what you do on Sunday today, friends. It's what you do on Monday. I'm not interested in a man that goes to church on Sunday. I want to see him go to work on Monday. That's the place to judge whether he's genuine or not. Verse 23, but this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I'll be your God. Ye shall be my people, and walk in all the ways that I've commanded you, that it may be well with you. In other words, he says, I want you to obey me. This business of coming into the temple, it's great. It's wonderful. But when your lives contradict it, and someone has said that some people go to church to either close and others to close their eyes. And I'm not sure what that's true in a great many cases today. Not really to worship God. Their lives have not been changed. They still gossip. They still crucify other Christians to their back. Don't mind putting a knife in their back. They still are out yonder in the world. It's very questionable. These people, see, were going right on to the altar of Baal, living the same way. They had no testimony. It's not the testimony you give in church. It's the testimony you give out yonder in the world that counts, friends. Oh, my, this is personal, is it not? Now he says here, verse 26, yet they hearken not unto me, nor incline their ear, but harden their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Therefore thou shalt speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to thee. Thou shalt also call unto them, but they will not answer thee. And Jeremiah didn't have many hands put up in his services, and he didn't have very many people that came forward. He didn't have any. But my friend, God says you've done the job. You're to give my word. And the important thing is for you and me is not to be able to count noses today or heads, but the important thing is, can we give a report to God that we have given his word and that we've tried to back it up? Now, he says this is the generation of his wrath, verse 29. Now, in chapter 8, beginning with verse 4, you find him here coming to an altogether different situation. And what we have here is something that is great. In fact, this whole passage, and I'm just going to take these few moments to give this out. Notice verse 9 of chapter 8. The wise men are ashamed, they're dismayed, and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of the Lord, and what wisdom is in them. And today, may I say this very carefully, that we feel today that if our economy is all right, we're all right. Many folk are beginning to realize today that the economy can be all right and we can be all wrong. And after World War II, we hastened to get the atom bombs together. Oh, we needed to protect ourselves, and rightly so. The Lord Jesus said, a strong man armed keepeth his house. And it was wise. But we forgot that any nation or any church or any individual, they fall from the inside. It's not what happens on the outside, but it's what happens on the inside. And you can't glory today in riches, and you can't glory today in power, and you can't glory today in wisdom. And we have had a brain trust in Washington now too long. We need somebody up there who knows something other than the present godless philosophy. We need somebody who knows God and is willing to stand on his 2 feet and says that he knows God. That's the great need in this country today, is a return to God and the setting aside of our hypocrisy and our sophistication that we're very smart people. We've been to the moon. Who's been to the moon? I haven't and you haven't. And I'm not going. I have a notion you're not going. What good is that going to do you? We don't need to walk on the moon. We need to walk in this nation today in a way that'll glorify God. Oh, my friend, today, what a message Jeremiah has. And that message is not being given out. I'm sorry, but it's not. And I guess I'd passed it by. But you see, I'm going through the Bible. This is the value of it. You can't miss any of these. And I'm sorry today that we have to be severe. But after all, God's severe, and we're to give out His Word.